With us now is Teneshia, and she is the editor-in-chief and founder of Blanc. And I wanted to make sure I was saying that right, because at first I said, is it blank, like blank canvas? And you're like, well, kind of, but it's Blanc.
Right.
This is not just a magazine. This is like a cocktail book. This is beautiful, this publication.
Thank you.
So I was telling you in the green room that I started out in graphic art and design, so I know a lot about paper and about type and about just quality, and this is lovely. So you've only been doing this for 5 years.
Right.
But let's talk about your baby, right? Well, this baby, right?
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you. Blanc has been around for about 5 years in print, but I had the idea about 10 years ago. It kind of was born out of frustration, really. Not being able to see myself in magazines that I looked at since I was 15 years old, and not being able to see anyone that was familiar to me kind of created this strange dysphoria. And so I tried to get into fashion, and it didn't work. I don't know if it was because I'm Teneshia from Philadelphia and I don't have rich parents, but I had a struggle trying to get into big name magazines. So instead of giving up, I decided to make my own. I made my own path.
Steve Buscemi gave me the same advice. He's like, you know what? Sometimes you just create your own work. I mean, he told me this years ago.
Yeah.
And right, there's something so satisfying in that. Like, don't you just, when you think about this, that you created this, you gave this life, and all the lives that you're changing all over the world, I mean, that's pretty satisfying.
Well, I don't really think about it, I don't think about myself when I make the book. I think about the contributors. I work with over 1,000 contributors from Japan to Colombia. And the idea is to put everyone together under one idea. It's about togetherness, it's a celebration of life. You'll find people from 4 to 94, from size 0 to size 24 in this book. You will find yourself when you look through the pages. And I think that's the point of every issue. You did say the name wrong, but it is a blank slate. It is a blank slate. Every issue, I just try to bring as much of everyone and as I can to the issue.
So now, how do your contributors work with you? So like when they supply you with the story and the imagery, and then you curate it? It's like a little mini museum, this magazine.
Well, we start from nothing. We start from an idea and a mood board. Me and my very, very small team, we pick everything from the photographers to the stylists to the models. And we put it all together under the idea that this has to flow, it has to make sense as a story.
Okay.
So this issue is for the future. So we decided to feature 3 designers that we think are making a huge difference. So Pierre Moss, Christopher Kane, and Richard Quinn. These 3 designers are incredible, and they're emerging, and they're making such huge statements in fashion. And we were really lucky to get them, first of all. So it was an honor to be able to feature their work, and we had to then build the stories around that.
Okay.
So it's just a building process over a few months, and it just comes from an idea. Sometimes it's a song, sometimes it's a Radiohead song that I hear, and I make the whole book based on that song. It just really kind of depends, and it's different for every issue. So no issue will ever be the same. And it's meant to be a book. You're meant to put it on a table.
Oh yeah, this is definitely a book.
Yeah, it's supposed to be as solid now and solid in 6 months.
Yeah.
It's supposed to make sense.
It's evergreen, and what's so nice about that is, they just covered my mic, Tony, my director's probably like, Drake, take the magazine away from me. But it's a keeper, right? And there's so many things in life nowadays that are kind of like, we come from a very disposable society, planned obsolescence, right? Where things are, there's 9 million chargers, it's the same phone, every time you got to throw something away. This is something that is a keepsake. People want to keep it because it's so beautiful.
And I wanted it to feel that way. I wanted the paper to make you feel nostalgic. I wanted it to feel heavy in your hands. I wanted you to feel that you were a part of something because you were holding something so heavy. So, I want you to be interested in the typefaces that we use.
I did notice that actually, yeah.
That's how I think we can create something that will again mean something now and mean something in a year from now.
Big brands call upon you for your take on diversity and inclusion and things like that. How do you take that responsibility? How does that feel to you now when they call you and say, Teneshia, this is what we got going on. What do you think about this?
At first I was really, I guess, it's a heavy load to, speak for a gender or speak for a race or speak for a people. But I don't really think about it that way anymore. I'm partnering with great brands now. For example, one of my big partners is Gucci, and they're really, really supportive of my work. I can't, talk about them enough. They work with us. They are one of our only, because I wanted to keep the advertising portion of the magazine small. I didn't want to have 100 pages of advertising before you get to the work. So we have a partnership with Gucci, and they advertise with us, and they allow me to create really interesting and diverse content for them. And I'm really excited about the work that I can do for other brands. I go to Milan a lot and speak to the Italian brands, and we're working on partnerships with a dozen really great brands. And talking to them, it's kind of strange, but it's also empowering for me because, this is the future.
It is.
This is what the world looks like. The world looks like my book.
It does.
And you can't say that about most magazines. That's what the world looks like. It's diverse, it's inclusive, it's all of us here together. So it's really great that I can go to the brands and that they're receptive. They want to know more, and they want to know how they can work in this space. And before, I don't think they even thought that they had to think about that before. So I think it's exciting times. I think 2020 is going to be a great year for us. I think we'll be able to make some really great content for great partners and make good books.
Well, originally coming from Philly, the city of brotherly love, brotherly, sisterly, and whatever kind of love. It's all about love. And so thank you for bringing your kind, wonderful heart to us. And we celebrate you. We thank you for including us on your journey. So Teneshia, way to go.
Thanks so much.
Really, really way to go.
Thank you.
World leader, Teneshia, okay? She's got it going on. If you can, get your hands on this.